This is like
Hi, my name is Seth Brown, and my business is to entertain you. Creating community connectivity through live music, arts, and entertainment is the mission of my company. It's all about people coming together and celebrating life.
it's a tough day and it's over. Seems like it's over and over. Tough days are never over.
I started my company for a number of reasons. Yeah, we can edit anytime, right? And start over, correct? So, I started my company with the purpose of bringing people together. I grew up in the entertainment industry, and my passion for music and art and just enjoying life to its fullest is what motivated me to make the jump from working for a corporation and somebody else to working for myself and people that I love. I think that there's definitely a balance that needs to be achieved at times. With the general public, they do want to hear, as you said, they want to hear the songs they know. They want to hear the song that is, played on the radio and they've heard since they were, young and such. And what the most of the music I do my best to support are an artist's original music. I don't know as much about the nationally touring artists that sell thousands and thousands of records. Most of my focus is on the local music scene and the emerging nationally touring artists, the ones that haven't quite made it yet but are on their way. I do my best to support, their music, and that's my personal preference. Is I want to hear their art and their heart and their soul. And music is just one of the best ways for people to express that and to connect others, and so it is challenging at times when at a regular bar venue where the general public, they want to hear, Wagon Wheel or, some of those Freebird and etc. Because it's the song that everyone knows and is familiar with, and so. What I do my best to recommend to other artists is to, occasionally sprinkle in a cover tune with their originals to help bridge that gap, to connect people so that they feel more comfortable and they're like, hey, they played my favorite song and now I heard this other song that I hadn't heard yet. That is the artist's own material. You and I, so much to say. We could talk tonight. Baby, I just want you. You were all alone. Nobody else is. Take your time. Don't need to rush me. 'Cause you know just what is on my mind. Stay here while I'm thinking what you're thinking. Stay here with me. I'm drinking what you're drinking. There's a number of different venues in Boise that attract a variety of artists. Most of the national or touring artists, they come through town because Boise is in the middle of nowhere to a degree. We're 6.5 hours from Portland and 4.5 hours from Salt Lake City and etc. Oftentimes we get the bigger named artists on the weeknights, Sunday through Thursday, and because they make more money ultimately on Fridays and Saturdays in larger markets where there's more people. But it's refreshing still that we do get them when we do, and it's wonderful and people do show up. It's exceptionally awesome when we get even more artists from different countries that come through. The big challenge that lies with that is that people in Boise are not quite familiar yet with these artists. They haven't heard their music unless they've performed on The Tonight Show or some major motion picture soundtrack. That is one of the difficult things, So I do my best to encourage people to try new music, to seek out artists that they haven't heard before, that they aren't familiar with yet, so that, because they're doing wonderful things, and to get people out to support music, of all kinds, and to, go out of their comfort zone even at times, to venture out and try something, because so often it's hard to know if you like an artist until you've heard them, and most of the time people don't take the risk to go see an artist they haven't heard before unless a friend says, hey, we're coming, come with us, let's go, and that's ultimately what it takes. It doesn't matter as much how many times you've heard, a radio advertisement or, a Facebook post or anything else like that. All those things do help strengthen the decision for people to go out and try a new artist. Still, it's a tough thing at times, so, but, and I'm doing my best personally as well to help bring artists from different cultural backgrounds and from different parts of the planet to through town and help support their art and raise awareness in our community in Idaho about their music. Some of the skills, in my opinion, that are most important for a musician are their ability to connect with a crowd. While they're performing and on stage, that's the ultimate thing. Getting people to the show, that's a huge part of the equation, of course. But once they're there, the way an artist interacts with their audience and makes them feel is so integral. Some of my favorite artists, they're just professionals at this. They can be performing, one in particular, Travis Book, the bass player for the infamous String Dusters. I was telling him recently at the Northwest String Summit earlier this summer how well he does this, how well he interacts with the audience. There's a crowd of 5,000 or 10,000 people, and he makes you feel like he's performing for you. The way he scans the crowd and the way he performs and interacts with the audience is just such a huge piece of the equation, and that's what keeps people engaged and entertained and interested and desiring to come back and see them perform again and again and again, is how the artist interacts with the audience. There's their technical skill, how well they play their instrument and everything, and which is very much a very important part of it. But in my opinion, it's how they perform and their stage presence that really drives it home and gets people excited about seeing an artist perform live again, and how well they connect, and because that's what life is all about, is when you feel that connection, that pull on your heartstrings, like, oh, we have a similar passion or taste or preferences, and that's what really gets people excited about music in general, is when it reminds them of a favorite memory or time and place in their life, or a feeling as well. For me, I love music that brings joy. There's all kinds of music for different types of, emotions and feelings and times and places and such. But the music that brings me joy and helps me forget about whatever may have been happening that bothered me previously. That's the music that I seek out, and the artists that I do my best to support and work with. So it's difficult for most artists to make a living off of nothing but their music. There's a number of them that need to still have their day job while they're pursuing their passion, while they're pursuing their art. And it's a difficult balance to achieve, to find that place where your music is prominent enough that you can live off of just that art form. And albums, CDs and stuff are they're starting to shift. They're not quite as important. It's difficult to measure as well because online distribution is such a huge part of where people get their music from, and people aren't buying CDs as often because they scratch and etc. and wear out, and you can purchase the music online or find it somewhere through various resources for free, but getting quality recordings is essential part of, reaching other people. And then, starting in an artist's hometown is one place to build a fan base, but then, artists that perform in various markets, some may sell like 3,000 or 5,000 tickets in Denver or Portland and etc. And then they come to Idaho, and people here aren't quite aware yet of their music yet because they haven't traveled and haven't been out to see these other artists at larger festivals yet. They haven't had the opportunity. So often, I hear people saying, hey, is this band any good? I'm like, well, they performed in front of 80,000 people at Bonnaroo, and they performed in front of 20,000 people at High Sierra. You tell me, are they any good, right? It's a difficult thing. I haven't had the experience personally yet, or knowledge as far as what it takes to get your music known globally. There's a number of different artists that I work with that have done European tours and such, and been traveling the planet with their art, which is amazing. It's a great thing, but that's an area that I don't have as much experience personally in, as far as the global scene and distribution and getting your music known through those avenues. So that's an area that I aspire to grow in, but it's one of those things that right now, like, my focus is, in where I can see the most impact, which is here in Idaho in our community, and I do my best to help, build awareness for the artists that I work with here that are based in Boise, and the ones that tour nationally, to help build their audiences here in town and to create that excitement for people about their music.
I'm gonna try to make a good one.
So the Boise music scene is multifaceted. There's many different genres that exist in different communities and subcultures, and culture is fascinating to me. The anthropology, the study of music and and art and people and the customs and, what brings them together, because everybody has different feelings as far as what their favorite artists are, what their favorite type of music is. For myself, the music I like to listen to can depend on the activity that I'm engaged in and what I'm doing at the time, or how I'm feeling, or how I desire to feel. And I'm kind of a chameleon of sorts, where I have many different personal aspirations as far as genres. I love funk music. I love the way it makes me feel, and I enjoy reggae and bluegrass and folk and some Americana and some good old rock and roll. And I also work with a number of DJs and live electronic artists and such, where they create a hybrid between electronic and the live band. And the Boise culture community, as I mentioned, it's multifaceted. There's, a group of people that gravitate mostly towards EDM and the electronic dance music scene. Then there's some that mostly like blues and rock and roll, and there's some that mostly like folk and bluegrass, and there's some that mostly like indie rock, or various subcategories, and some like the screamo and the metal, because that's where they connect. That's what their combination of experiences in life, where that led them to. So our scene it's pretty diverse for a small town, a little big city of sorts, and I see a lot of growth happening, though, which is pretty exciting to be a part of it as well. Through Tree Fort Music Fest, for one example of what it does to help bring people out and get them excited about trying new music, about going out and seeing artists that they hadn't previously heard of before, and to see, because so often there's so many things you don't know if you're going to like it or not until you try it, and so festivals like Tree Fort are integral in that, that they help get people out and trying new things, to experience it, to see if they like it or not, so they can pursue that. Because sometimes you might think, oh, I only listen to this genre of music and this is all my friends listen to, and so that's what we do, until you have those opportunities to hear something that really strikes a chord within your heart or in your mind, where you really connects with you, and you're like, I want some more of that. I like that. I like how it makes me feel. And music for me is it's science. It's stimulus reaction. I listen to this, it makes me feel this way. I like feeling like this. I like feeling happy and energized. And so that's personally where, most of my preferences gravitate towards in music, and the artists that I do my best to support and such. But, I've seen a lot of growth in the last, 5 years and in the last 10 years in Boise. And it's exciting to see, more folks, branching out. There's a number of different artists that I'm fascinated by, from Argentina and from different parts of the planet, that the Boise scene is still, they're not exposed to yet enough. They haven't tried it to be able to form an opinion whether or not they're into it, or if it's their thing. So there's different events that I do to help bridge that gap and give people the opportunity to try things out. One of the things that's also powerful for me is like an artist's ability to evoke emotion and incite change and create positive change. And lately I've been really researching artists that have a message in their music about positivity and about change, and that are bringing up things that are happening currently, like the importance of protecting the environment and such. And so Idaho Green Fest is one of the events that I produce. It's a Earth Day festival. It's usually held right around Earth Day in April, and it's my focus through that event is to, not only show people a good time, but to help educate and bring awareness within them that, that they can make a difference. that they can do something positive and learn from each other and connect and grow. And that's what it's all about for me, is providing these opportunities for people to connect, because there's a common, disillusionment. People think like, oh, the entertainment industry, oh, it's a sold out show, you must be making so much money, oh look, and that's like often not the case. And there's that one show where it did sell out, sure, and then there's many others that you do in between. But for myself, the real reward that comes from being involved in the music and entertainment industry is the connections that I've created with people, with the artists, and then with friends and fans, and with seeing those opportunities within each other as well. Because it's not that glamorous, and there's not really that much money involved either. It's really a labor of love, and the true reward for myself in our community in Boise comes from seeing the connections that have been created, from going to a coffee shop and overhearing conversation with people about, oh, the first time they met was at an event that I happened to produce. And that's like blows me away. I mean, it could bring me to tears right now just thinking about that power, that energy of how the music, the vibration, that frequency, brings people with similar passions together. It's so incredible. Today we're up here at Bogus Basin Mountain Recreation Area, sitting in the St. Luke's Don Scott Memorial Amphitheater, and I'm not sure how much the camera can pick up right now, but in the background my friends Innocent Man are performing, and it's part of this summer concert series up here at Bogus Basin, and there's a winter concert series also. And it's just so refreshing to see friends that I've known for 5 and 10 years, or that I met this year. There's some friends that I met a week ago during the Sawtooth Valley Gathering. There's some friends that I met at the Huckleberry Jam also, that was just happened for the first year. There's so many awesome people that I've connected with and had the opportunity to meet and learn from and grow together, through music. And there's a number of them too that are just, we don't have each other's phone numbers, and we're not friends on Facebook yet, and etc. But like, we just met and we kept meeting again and again and again because of our similar passions. We're in the same place at the same time. And then it's like after a while where it's like, hey, let's get to know each other better, because it turns out we've got some things in common. You like music and you like mountains and trees. Like, what are you doing later? Let's get together and have a good time and celebrate life. And that's what that's all about for me, and where my true joy comes from in being involved in the industry is creating those connections and seeing the people that come together that that met the love of their life, or their best friends, or the people that they do business with and such. It's pretty awesome to be a part of the growth of the music scene in Boise, to have witnessed. There's a number of artists that I work with also that have been, I look up to them, and they tell me, they're like, oh, we're just so happy to be working with you. I was like, are you kidding me? It's like, you've been doing this, your whole life, or, you did this before I was even born. You were performing and creating your art and bringing people together. And so it's like, so you're my inspiration. And so it's always a refreshing treat to, to hear positive feedback from those individuals as well in our community, and, bringing it back to, there are so many different, subgenres and subcultures, and EDM is still, it's one category of electronic music. There's so many, within that, and that's, some people, it's not their cup of tea. They don't like it, but some people form that opinion before they ever even tried it, or maybe they only heard one song. It's like, you can't say, oh, I hate country music because you heard that one song that you didn't like. It's like, there's, as with most genres, there's different layers within and different art forms and different, I find an appreciation in a diverse array of music. Some folks only listen to, one kind, and I'm excited all the time, like by opportunities to hear, what people from different parts of the planet are listening to, what, is their traditional cultural music, and what, is hitting the pop, and then what's in the underground scene as well. That's the underground and emerging scene is, definitely where I kind of gravitate to more than the pop culture, than what's, sold thousands of records and such and is played on the radio. I mean, most of the time, if I am listening to the radio, it's to community radio. It's really refreshing to have 89.9 FM, Radio Boise, helping support independent artists. You hear stuff that you wouldn't hear, every day. And some of the, within that station even, there's some DJs that may not play what is your personal preference, and there's some others that you may align with more. But it's great that, they are giving local bands and emerging artists the opportunity to be heard, to get their music out, because you don't know you're like something until you try it, That's and that's just the ultimate thing in the marketing piece of the tool, is getting people comfortable with, yes, I'm gonna go to this event, and I'm gonna go, if it's a free show or a $5 or a $20 or whatever the cover is, and it's just awesome. It's really awesome to be a part of the growth and to help support, diversity and such. It's quite refreshing indeed. I'm grateful now for the opportunity to share a little bit more about my passions and about what I love with y'all presently, So thank you for being here today, and it's been refreshing to get to know both of you over the summer, and I look forward to knowing you more as well. And I'll probably have some questions for you after this as well, because I want to know more about where you come from, what do you like to listen to, and what makes you feel like, like social media is one of those mediums that's it's kind of tricky sometimes. But a post I put out recently that has brought me a lot of joy is just like, I asked what music genres or songs or artists bring them the most joy. And it's been so refreshing to see the diverse comments within my friends and stuff, and to hear artists that I may or may not have heard before too. The ones that I'm like, yes, oh my God, you know who the Motet is? I love you, and some that I had never heard before previously because I hadn't been exposed to, and it gave me the opportunity to find some new artists as well that I'm really into now, that I hadn't heard of previously. So it's been a neat journey, that's for darn sure, to get to know more about my friends and to get to know more about myself and the music and the art and the culture that's being created, and it's super awesome. And so I'd love it if anything that I've said today aligns with you and you find a place that connects within yourself or that you're interested in, from, like I mentioned, folk and bluegrass and funk and reggae and jam bands and live electronic rock and some DJs and stuff. If you're interested in finding out more, my company is To Entertain You. It's T-O Entertain the letter U. And so you can find it at toentertainthelletteru.com or To Entertain You LLC. If you want to, check out the page online and the events. And oftentimes I post videos of the artists, so that way if you haven't heard someone before, but you're like, oh, someone that I've never heard before is playing this genre of music, and you're like, oh, I like that, and you can watch the video and see what it's like, and help build your confidence, and hey, that's something. Yes, I wanna try that. I want to go see them live. Or maybe that one is not quite my speed. But like giving people the opportunity to decide for themselves. And to try it, before going to a show, to help build their confidence in saying yes, I want to go, and yes, I want to support these artists. And oh my goodness, shoot, dang, I just found my favorite band ever, and I want to buy their CD and download and their t-shirts, and I want to tell people all about them because of how they make me feel. That's ultimately what it comes down to, is how music and art makes people feel, and their interpretation, their own take on that is just, it's so awesome to be a part of helping bring awareness to others, and getting them to try new stuff. So thank you for supporting live music and the arts. And thank you for going out and trying new bands and new DJs and new performers that you haven't heard before, and venturing out of your typical comfort zone, and not being afraid to go out and meet new people as well, because while we're here on this earth, we have choices, right? And I choose to live life to its fullest, and to be happy, and to engage with others that desire to feel that way. And maybe some people need a reminder also that hey, life's awesome, let's have some fun, don't be a Debbie Downer. Let's go have a good time. And yeah, so thank you so much for your time today, and joining me here up at Bogus Basin and talking more about music and how it makes you feel. Thanks.